Good morning, everyone. Myself is Nikhil Kumar, Assistant Professor in IT Department in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today, I have the lecture for the subject of the big data that have the code BCS061, and the topic is the introduction of the big data. Basically, this is the topic and the subject for the BTech third year CS and its allied branch, especially for the IT sections, IT domain. And we will discuss for today the introductions of the big data, and for this is the lecture series of the big data. We will take around 5 to 6 lectures for this subject big data. So first one is the digital data. When we discussing about the big data, we totally focus on the digital data, not the analog one. That is the hard copy one. When we are discussing about the big data, so why it is the big data? So basic question is why it is big data, and opposite to the big data, is there any small data or little data exist or not? So when we are comes to the name as I mentioned big data, so there are two terms of big and data. So data and information are basically two terms, where information is something that is extract the information from the particular data. So data is a wide type of gathering the storage, whatever we store something or whatever we extract from the total memory, whatever counted as a database. So information is the extraction some important information when we required it. So information is the particularly a subdomain from the whole structure super domain of the data storage. So if we write down this one, that this is the data, and when we gather some instructions from this one, that is from our important for whatever we need, so that is the this portion is known to be the information. If we gathering this particular information, this particular data from this whole structured, so that is the information. Information is the subdomain from the super domain of the data. Okay, so this is the concept of the data and information. Now we come to the terms big data. So big data is when we are discussing about the big data, so there is no any term for the small data or little data, but especially in the opposite of the big data, there is the term that is known to be a data which are other than the big data existence. Big data is something that is globally accessed or globally presence, and when we required, we can access through some mechanism, some protocols from the globally. So that are the part of the big data, when there are some mechanisms that multiple users can access at simultaneously or at different time frame when it will be required. So that are the portions of the big data. In case of the small data, that is not existence, particularly because it have the terms that is data. We have the content that the data and the big data especially. So data will be the term when there is someone who access its personal data. So in the context of the personal data, we have the term that it will be the data, and in the context of the when the data is present in the globally, so it is known to be the big data. So big data content is structured into particularly 3 types. First one is the structured data, second one is the semi-structured data, and third one is the unstructured data. The difference between these 3 are, the first one is the structured data. The source of structured data is with the structured formations, that it will be the formations it convert and basically present in the database in the formations of the row and column, basically in the table formations. And when the data is recovered, it will be well organized, well stored, and when we retrieve it from the database, it is properly accessible. All the terms are purely accessible in the pure form that is the structured form. It is known as the structured data in the context of the big data scenario. The second one is the semi-structured data. Before study the semi-structured, now come to the unstructured data. The unstructured data content comes with the term that if the data is present in the globally and we focus and to retrieve or recover the data from the globally, and we find out that there is a mechanism, there is also a mechanism to recover, but the data is stored in the unstructured formations. That means there is no any phase and any mechanism that data is stored by sequentially access. There is some mechanism through we recover, but it is not accessible through just like the structured formations, because in structured one the data is stored in a pure formations in a sequential one, and the data is recovered from the mapping functions, which is most important to be calculated and considered in the pure formation. In the form of the semi-structured data recovery or retrieval, the data is stored in the some data is form of the structured formation, some is the unstructured formation. So in the combinedly form, the all the data is stored in both the phases. So it is known to the semi-structured. Okay, it will calculate and it will be considered in the formations when it will be extract. It will take less time than the unstructured and the more time than the structured data. The structured data formations will be used and to be calculated, and it will be executed at the lowest time period frame. The unstructured data will take too much time than the structured, and semi-structured takes the on average time between the structured and the unstructured formation. That are the learning outcome regarding the these three concepts, that is the structure, unstructured and the semi-structured formations. What will be the agenda? If we discuss the structured formation, the source of structured data that is easy with the structured formations. The term is the structured in the structured case. In semi-structured, source of semi-structured formations will be generated as we discussed earlier. In the form of the unstructured data, we deal with the unstructured formations of the data that are present. What is the globally access of data or globally presence of data? That means, let's suppose whatever we will do in the computer, when the internet facility is provided, we know that we do the some internet access, data is recovered from where it will be present and somewhere in the globally through the server, through some protocol and some tools, and we will do the some mailing functioning. That means we will do some mail inbox or text draft, create some sent mail, and we will do comes on the some social media activity. So all these type of formations, the data extractions information are provided by different source. All these things are done in the internet site, and this type of data is known to be the big data, and the recovery of these data is known to a, or when we analyze this one, it is known to be the big data analysis. As well as we classify the big data, or we can say digital data, because all these type of data are digital data, but in different sense we can say that is a digital data, or we can say the big data. The digital data is classified into the three categories as we discussed earlier: structured, semi-structured and the unstructured formations. And what will be the presence of existence in the whole worldwide, in the complete worldwide, in the presence of the big data? We understood that there are three concepts, the three subcategories of the big data. This is known as the unstructured data. This is the semi-structured, and this is the purely structured data. So through this bar graph, we will find out that 80% of the total coverage of data is stored in the unstructured form. That to store and to retrieve the through the mapping function from the unstructured data is too complex rather than the structured and the semi-structured formation. So through this data we will find out and to get the information that unstructured data are morely present, and we work on that unstructured data. The structured data is the database is an example of the structured data, where it will be formed in the row and column because it will be structured formation. So mapping will be too easy to recover and the retrieve of the data, and the relationship exists between the entities of data such as the class and their objects. When we take the example that how the data are present in the when we prepare a class in the Java programming, we have a class and object relationship. In similar way, we have the concept of the structured formation in the row and column, in the pure formation in the structured data in the same context. The structured data content that are the source formation of the structured data is the database such as Oracle DB2, Teradata and MySQL and PostgreSQL. It also be present in the spreadsheet that are the multiple files in the Excel form divided into the row and column basically, and OLT system. So these are the formations where the structured data are present basically. The next one is the easy with the structured data. What are the easy form of the structured data is? These are the terms where it will be used, or we can say there are the basic property of the structured data is the first one is the input, update and the delete of the data. The deletions of any type of data, to insert any type of data or to update the existing data is also the part of the structured data. We also consider the security mechanism. The structured data is purely secured. There is no any type of chances to be unsecured. Indexing and searching is too easy in the structured data because we have the mapping functions. So we do all the tasks at the very first indexing. Mapping is all done. Scalability is also be the possible case in the structured data. Why it is exist? Because in the scalability case, if we want to scale up the existing data, we want to update, or we have to map some extra data into the particular existing data. So all these things will be done in the structured data in the very good way. The transaction processing, when we have a mapping function and we have to do some transactions possibility in the existing system, so all these things will be done in the structured data. The next one is the semi-structured data. This is the data which does not conform to a data model but has some structured, however it is not a form which can be used easily by the computer program. It will be the same formations that are structured formation and unstructured formation, but in the on the average basis. What will be the examples of the semi-structured data? The examples are the email, any type of account that we will do the email processing, XML file, HTML file on the internet that are the part of the markup language, just like the HTML, metadata that are based on the some social media activities. In case of the source of semi-structured, we will discuss that is the XML file, other markup language, and JSON, that is the JavaScript object notations are the part of the semi-structured notations, data formation. What are the features of the semi-structured data? We will have the inconsistent structure. We have the self-describing, that will be based on the label and the value formations. Often schema information is blended with the data values. We also have the data object may have the different attributes not known to the before hint. So these are the features of the semi-structured data that are the part of the big data formations. And the last one is the unstructured data. That around 80% of data that is exist in the global level is present in the formations of the unstructured formations, because on the social media and the data set, whatever we will do on the Google form, in the Word file, exist in the internet level, it will be the part of the unstructured formation, that are the memos, that are the chat rooms, the PowerPoint presentations, image and videos, research work, white paper, body of an email are just the examples of the unstructured data that are the part of the big data. And more values that are covered in the unstructured formation is around 80% of the existing system. We have already discussed the source of the unstructured data, that are the web pages, images, free form text, we can say in direct way, that are Google form, also the audio files, video files, body of any type of email, text message, that are the portions of the chat box, chat rooms, chat, the data we will provide in the chat rooms, social media and the Word document. So a large amount of, and the examples are available through which we can calculate the unstructured data, and we can find out and we get the information that the basically we work on number of terms in the unstructured data, because we will do the web page access, we also do the Google forms, we work on the audio, images and video in the social media activity, we work on the work document, we also do the chat activity. So all these are the very basic and common things that we will do through the internet services. So that are the part of the unstructured data, and there is no any concept to be mapped easily, so it will take a huge time. What are the issues with the terminology? First one is the structured can be implied despite not being formally defined. Data with some structure may still be labeled unstructured if the structure does not help with the processing task at hand, because we find out that a large number of time will be used to recover from the unstructured data, because the data will be, there is no any proper mapping done, and at the time of storage and to when we do some updation, recover and some do some changes, mapping also, so it will take too much time. Dealing with the unstructured data, how we will recover, restore and retrieve the data from the unstructured formation. We will do the data mining, data extract information and do some OLAP concept through that, that are the portion of the data mining. Next one is the NLP, that is a natural language processing, to translate and to convey the message, when we know very well that NLP is basically the subdomain of the AI tools, AI applications and AI process. So NLP will do the processing, transform from one language to other one when it will be required for the proper information gathering and for convey a message in the proper formation. The next one is the text analysis, the simple text conversion, find out and to extract some information and the noisy data. We know very well, sometimes when we understood that when we share some information to one mechanism, one form to another one, some data is unwanted in unwanted form, it will be collapsed with that one and shared with the, our basic important data. So that data will be unsecure type and it is known as a noisy formation. So to recover from the noisy text is known as the noisy text analysis, and all these things will be done in the proper way. So we will do the dealing with the unstructured data. This is the matching function. There are some column A and column B. We will have to find out and some match formations, that how we will be connect to each other by a proper column system, match system. It is a revised process. You have to recover from whatever we will do in the last some slides. So tell me something, which category, the structured, semi-structured and the unstructured formation we will do in the web pages. We already discussed that we will do some, whatever we will write down, we access some internet files that are the part of the structured, semi-structured or unstructured formations. This is the question for you. The second one will be the which category, structured, semi-structured and unstructured, will you place in the Word document? We already discussed this one in the last slides. So you have to answer that which category will be exist and will be placed on the Word document. State a few examples of human generated and machine generated data, and also be categorized into the formations of the structured, unstructured and the semi-structured. So these are the proper reference through which you can getting the all the details from the, likewise from the this chapter 1 digital data on the part of the big data. So thank you class for connect with these slides. We will do some extra regarding this chapter big data in the some slides, in the some lectures we will continue in that one. So thank you to join us.